Welcome to Signature Motors Podcast, where we want to inform you about the motor industry and what's happening behind the scenes. Initially, I started with 5 cars, then we grow to 7, 9, 10 cars.
I started in sales selling door-to-door cutlery.
We're selling an experience, we're not selling cars. That's why we've got a lot of repeat customers.
The first car you sell, that experience, the pressure on you, you've never done it, paperwork, it's a rush. But it was exciting. And I think after I did my first car, I knew this was my calling. And I've been in this game now over 33 years.
People think we buy a car for 100,000, we sell it for 150 and we make 50,000. That's totally wrong.
It's electricity, it's water and lights.
We need to look after our customers, and that's a challenge today. I mean, we sometimes lose money on cars.
So Wilfred, tell me, how did you start the Signature Motors?
Rob, yeah, it was funny enough. I worked for a corporate company for many years, and then about 17 years ago, one evening I decided, listen, this is now time to not to open a used car dealership, but to open an experience for people.
Okay, where did you start?
I actually started in North Rand Road, 154,
Okay.
which is up the road, and then we moved to this premises. So I started initially I started with 5 cars, then we grow to 7, 9, 10 cars. And yeah, I'm proud to say we've got about 100 cars today on the floor.
How many years has this been going on?
In January, we will be 17 years.
17 years. So in 17 years, we've obviously sold quite a lot of cars. And how's it been with the customers? Because for 17 years, you've been kind of in the same street. So you must probably got a lot of customers that are still coming back.
Yeah.
And same people.
Yeah, I always say Signature Motors is not a used car dealership like the normal used car dealership. We're selling an experience, we're not selling cars. And that's why we've got a lot of repeat customers. Okay? I mean, we've got guys that bought 17, 15, 13 cars from us. And we put our signature on every car when we deliver the car.
No, that's awesome, Manu. That's very nice.
Okay, Rob, you asked me now the questions where I started. Let's listen where you started.
So I've always been fascinated with cars and all like machines and bikes and boats and everything like that. And I started in sales selling door-to-door cutlery. And I realized that this is taking a lot of time and not making the money that I think that my friends were making. So I started in Jewel Street at a dealership. First car I ever sold was a Nissan Sentra. Now, a new car, the first car you sell, that experience, the pressure on you, the pressure of the manager on you to do the sale. You've never done it. Paperwork, it's a rush, it's a back, it's a forward. But it was exciting. And I think after I did my first car, I knew this was my calling. And I've been in this game now over 33 years. And I think it was the best move I've ever. I mean, I'm only 25, but I've been over 33 of the years. Look at us. They said, join the motor industry, you'll love it, you'll make a lot of money. Yeah. So we have our ups, we have our downs. But I think in my time of selling, before I came into management, I've done over 5,000 cars myself that I've sold roughly. So yeah, it's always been, I think when I started that, it became my dream and my passion. And I've still kept that passion for all those years to where I am till today. I've still got the drive and the passion for what I do. So yeah, that's where I started. So Wilfred, a question that I'd like to ask is, people out there when they come and buy a vehicle believe there's thousands of rands that you make a day on every single car. And I think there's a bit of a misperception on what it costs from the start to the end, and what after you've sold the car is still covered by the dealership, or what we still do. Can you maybe give us a little bit of an insight from the start to the end, where the dealership and what the dealership makes, and there's overheads, there's costs, for argument's sake?
Yeah, Rob, I think it's an interesting question. People think we buy a car for 100,000, we sell it for 150 and we make 50,000. That's totally wrong. Things changed in the last 17, 20 years. Let's call it 17 years because I've got my own dealership the last 17 years. The legislation changed. We've got the NCA, National Credit Act, that came into effect. We've got the Consumer Protected Act.
Correct.
And then we've got clever customers. Customers out there is clever. They know where to find any information. I said to a guy yesterday, I said, 17 years ago, you bought a car for 20 grand and you sell it for 40 grand and you make 20 grand. These days, you buy a car for 500,000 rand and you're still making your 20 grand. But your overheads has changed dramatically from that time. I mean, to keep this dealership open, to open the doors the first of the month is R500,000.
Correct. Yes, and I understand. And I think with a salesperson, that they also must understand is that, as you said, on the first day, and I know this, I think a salesperson costs you 20,000 Rand before he's even sold a car on the first day, roughly. It's because, remember, it's his seat, it's electricity, it's water and lights, it's all those kind of things that go into this. And I think the other thing that I want to know is once you've sold the vehicle, there's still costs that come to a dealership, if I'm right or wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, that's probably why we number one on Hello Peter in the East Rand. Of course, we look after our customers. If you sell a used car, it's a used car. Anything can happen to a used car.
Correct.
Besides that, we under legislation, under the CPA, we also got a responsibility to the customer where we need to look after a customer. I mean, if a guy bought a car, the battery packed up in 2 weeks' time, we can't tell him, sir, sorry,
Yes.
we ran away. We're not that type of car dealership. So yeah, there's a lot of what we called after sales that's come through
Okay.
that we need to assist the customer. And we do that. And that's probably why we're number one on Hello Peter in the East Rand.
And then what of that? Obviously, it comes out of the profits. Because everything, I think people think you make 20 grand, 30 grand, and goes into your back pocket, and that's where it is. But out of that 30,000, let's use an example, there's obviously costs to paying the commissions. Customer comes back, you got to put a battery in, or something happens with that vehicle. So you're not making 30 grand. At the end of the day, you may be making 10 or 15 at the end, which is
Absolutely not. I mean, most of the time you got trade-ins.
Okay.
And you look at a trade-in and you think you need to spend 5 grand on a guy's trade-in. But once you start spending money, you spend 20 grand on a guy's.
Correct.
And I mean, we just discussed it this morning. We had a week without power.
Yes.
Where we had to run generators day by day. We bought diesel, we bought petrol. We have to change our whole setup.
Correct. Correct.
So that's challenges. I mean, we're sitting with license officers, challenges. We're sitting with, as I say, with an NCA, with the National Credit Act, where they look after customers, and we need to be sharp. We need to look after our customers, and that's a challenge today. I mean, we sometimes lose money on cars, and people don't understand that. You do make your profits on some of the cars, but on some of the cars you lose money.
100%.
It's part of the business.
And I think customers must also understand. I saw today that we're busy painting outside. We've got to keep the maintenance up. We've got to look after those. It's a lot of stuff like that it also goes into which we have to make. With any dealership, your money comes from selling the cars. Nothing from nothing else. So out of all that, you've still got to maintain the premises to look the part, signage. Everything has to be changed. It's like anybody that owns a house. You don't just leave it. You've got to paint it every 5 years, for argument's sake. Even if it needs or doesn't, you've got to maintain. You've got to look after it. So I think there's a lot that goes into it. People just think you bank the money, but it's not. There's costs towards that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that part with us, so that I think a lot of customers can also see a little bit in depth that it's not just banking money. It's the payments of the stuff. There's the people that work. We open Saturdays. We have to pay people that come to work. So you got cleaners, you got everything like that don't generate money and profits for us, but they use money because we have to pay them to keep the cars clean. When you got weather like we've had this week, it's just been raining. You're cleaning these cars every single day, and that costs. So it's a cost that people must also understand. So over at another thing, you mentioned earlier, and I know about this as well, the CPA Act. And I think a lot of clients have a misconception of what it means. They've heard it in 6 months, and you can just do what you want to do. And if I'm not happy, I just give it back. Can you maybe give us a little bit of in how that actually works?
That's probably a very clever question. The word CPA, Customer Protection Act, is something that people don't understand. I mean, yes, it's to protect the customer, but we as a dealer also got the right.
Correct.
So once you buy a car and you've got a problem on the car, the CPA actually say repair,
Yes.
replace, or refund.
Correct.
But most people think, oh, my car broke down. I bought it 2 weeks ago. Give my money back. It doesn't work like that. I think the CPA is really stipulate that we as a dealer need the opportunity to repair the car first.
Okay, yeah.
We've done it before many times. We've replaced cars many times, and we refund cars many times in our life. So I think if you buy a new car from any manufacturer,
Yes.
you got a warranty.
Yes.
If you drove that car for a week and it broke down, you can't just give it back.
Correct.
That's why you got a warranty. And I think in our industry, it's exactly the same. People must understand.
Yes.
It is a used car. We do a 101 check. We do a roadworthy, but it can still break.
And I think customers must understand, to ask them the question is, where do we get the car? We get it from a customer. And the problem we, I think, in the motor industry have a lot is that the customer trades it in, but doesn't tell us what's totally wrong. So we don't strip a car to evaluate it. We look at it as a best, we plug it in, we do a diagnostic check, we drive it, we check. Remember, that is done within a half an hour. We then have the car, we then start working on what we have, but they're sometimes not mentioned. Let's use a gearbox, for argument's sake, that's been reset by the customer, and that can hold for 3 days. And then as soon as after 3 days, this breaks up, we can't give it back. We can't say it cost us money again, or the client's taken the vehicle, now he feels it's us. And I think that's where you come in with, there's a warranty, there's a repair first chance, then a replacement, and then a refund. So we get the parts from clients. It's not us. A new car, I agree. A new car comes from the factory, so you've got a warranty. They could say, well, it comes from there. But we actually physically get the car from a customer. But the same as what a customer is buying a car by us, we get it from them. So I like that at least I think customers can understand how it works. And I think it gives them a bit of more insight into understanding when something happens, that you give the dealership the opportunity to repair first. If that's obviously not done, you will then replace the car. And then, as Wolfram said, if that doesn't work and we don't get it right, then we refund it. But under certain policies and procedures, I think clients must understand that. The policies and procedures. Because nobody can just give a 6-month warranty and say, we'll cover your car for 6 months. There won't be dealerships. You can't cover anybody for just 6 months if there's a problem. Because there's also driver abuse. There's people riding the cars, changing, swapping. And I want to jump onto one thing that I know in this game. Clients are also customers, and not all, please understand. We've picked up a lot of this, where a client will bring his trading, we'll evaluate it. The car comes back in 2 days and they've changed batteries, tires, rims. It's happened. And we say to the client, but this is not, we've taken photos, this is not the same. And he goes, oh, I don't know. No, I didn't do this. But we've got proof. And then he'll come back and then he's gone. So, I'm not saying everybody, and please understand that, but we have got proof and we've got things that this has happened. In my time of 33 years selling cars, it's happened to me not once, but a few. I'm sure, Wilfred, you've also picked up that.
No, for sure. I mean, we're sitting with customers on a weekly basis where a guy think the CPA will protect him for the first 6 months, but he doesn't understand wear and tear items is for his account. I mean, people think if you buy a car, you can do whatever you want to do. We've got a customer, for example, that travel 100,000 kilometers in 4 months.
Yeah.
And he still think we need to look after this car, wear and tear items. I mean, people must think we're ridiculous, but we still help those people. But I mean, wear and tear items, if you do harsh braking, your brake pads is going to pack up easier.
Correct. And that is a wear and tear. And I think people must, when buying a car, also understand. Go and look what's a wear and tear. Driver abuse, as Wilfred says. Hard braking, that's driver abuse. You can't come back. Wear and tear, batteries, brakes, tires. It's all wear and tear items. You must go look at it and then find out. I don't think any dealer or person that will just not want to help you. But there's how can I say, different channels. There's ways how to do it. And I think that if a lot of customers do it that way, I think a lot of dealers will be more helpful to you. So I think this, as the customers out there, also see, we're also trying our best. We're also just human. We also look at it, but when you march in and you demand and throw keys and that, you're going to get a reaction, obviously, from the dealership. They'll also be upset. And I think that's where the whole argument starts. So I think for people out there also to treat, we're also people. We're also just doing our job to help. And I think a lot of times is we provide a service, but customers sometimes think they own us. You will do that. You will do this. And yeah, so please understand, we're also human beings. Our salespeople are human beings, our cleaners, everybody around our workshops, they're also human beings. They got families, they got everybody just trying to make a living. So, Wilfred, let's go back to a little bit of also a little good and laughs that we have, because we do have them in the industry. Make no mistake, we love what we do. That's why we have for years in doing it. And these some of the days that we just turn around and have a good laugh. Have you got any experiences, either when you were selling or not selling, or in management, or anything like that, where there's something that you can think of that you had a good laugh about, where somebody did something wrong, or a customer brought a call with something wrong and it was something else, or something that you can think of?
Yeah, no, I think there's a couple of things. Let's call it in the olden days when the motor industry was still fun. I don't think it's fun anymore. But I had a professor that bought a new car from me. And the next day he came back and he said, listen, there's a problem with this car. I said, what is wrong? He said, the windscreen giving me nausea. I said, Professor, but it's impossible. Drive a car myself. Eventually we had to replace the windscreen. 2 weeks later he came back, he said, the second windscreen make the same thing. 3 weeks later, we replaced the second windscreen. But we start laughing about it because it's only happening to him.
Yeah, it's out the door.
Yeah, and 3 weeks later, his wife walked in. I said, how's Prof? She said, Prof is in bed. He can't drive this car anymore. We had to take that car back because of a windscreen. After we replaced it with 3 windscreens. And I mean, I think the most funny thing is when I have to say mostly lady customers phone you at 7 o'clock at night and say, my car broke down. You get the tow truck, you get there, and then she ran out of fuel. That happened a couple of times with me. So yeah.
I agree with that one. That's also happened to me. Now that's quite. Did you ever find out why the windscreen had to be replaced? What was the defect?
We've sold it to the next customer and he was happy with it. So yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
It's one of those things you can't keep everybody happy. I've realized that. So when I start my own dealership, I want to keep everybody happy, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
there's 1% that you can't keep always happy. So on your side, you probably in this industry for many years.
Yes, I actually, one was a story I heard, and then I had another one. So a gentleman bought for his wife an Apache. I don't know if you know what an Apache is. I think that's giving a bit of age away a bit, but yes, so it was called an Apache, but I think it's is that a Chev or the Apache?
Well, Rob is probably before my time, Apom.
Okay, that's what I said, and so the story I heard is, okay, so the Apache car had its handbrake was there on the front, and you'd pull it. So the husband was coming, bought the car. Next day he's back, this car goes nowhere. My wife's upset, and he cannot understand why. He says he can't get out of the garage. She's moaning. We go there. Well, they went there, people. They got in the car. They pulled it out. It worked. Parked it again. Gave her the key. The second day, the same. And on the third day, they had the same problem. So I know the people went, the manager or that went to the lady and said, okay, show me where's the problem. From start to end, when you get into the car, what's happening? And so she now got into the car, all dressed, ready to go to the shops, pulls the handbrake out, hangs her handbag over it, and puts it in gear and it goes nowhere. So she thought she could hang her handbag over it, and that was what she was using it. And a simple mistake. Maybe the salesperson didn't explain it properly to her because her husband brought the car home. So he was in charge of it, and obviously maybe didn't tell her as well. But that's one of the funnies, and I thought it was quite good. And then another one is, and I think Wilfred will know about this one, had a customer that phoned and said, the safety belts on the back aren't working. I'm upset. I don't want this car anymore. You can come fetch it. It don't. I can't drive with my kids. I can do nobody. So we go out there and we go and look. And she's clipping in and it doesn't want to clip in and it doesn't want to clip in. And we say, okay, fine, but it's a 3-row. So what does it have? 3 safety belts. So 2 of them where they clip in were out and the third one was at the fell below. So we opened the seat, pushed it out, clipped it in. It was all fine. A little bit embarrassing for her that she felt that the kid pushed it through into the middle. So these are simple things that I think also sometimes customers must understand. So we got there. She was embarrassed, really in the face. We said, ma'am, don't worry, it happens a lot, so please. So we let her feel better. We didn't turn around and say, hey, concentrate, girl. We helped her as well and guided her. She just told us to come out. And I think these things are simple little things that I think sometimes people must just wait a bit, just get it checked before we throw, as I would say, throw the toys out.
Yeah, one thing that also happens quite often is the people that buy their first automatic car, used to a manual car, and then stop at home, switch your car off, but don't put it in park. Next time a car doesn't want to start.
If it's in drive, all that.
These days, luckily with a new car, you have to put it in park to get your key out. So,
Correct.
but in the older days with older cars, if you put it in, leave it in drive, next time, no, my car doesn't want to start.
Yes.
So yeah, she didn't put it in park.
And I want to talk about, sorry, when he's talking about the auto, I went once with a customer that comes out of a manual and she went to an auto. But now you must understand that manual, 3 pedals. Your left clutch, right pedal, brake. And we go out onto the road and I was about to put that safety belt on. And I think in her mind, she thought it's a manual and she presses that brake with her left. But I think I cramped myself like into the front of the window like this. And she just said, sorry. And then she accelerated it and then threw me nearly to the back seat. So quite funny story. Bit of a neck pain. But other than that, we went on. So we will still the people that are getting into the keep left. Don't use it. Put it there on the left because you'll see at the bottom of the pedals on the auto on the left, it's got like a little piece. So you leave your left foot there and your right foot for any automatic is right foot, petrol and brakes. And then I think you won't have that. But that I've also heard has happened to a few people. So it's just my new things that have happened. But anyway, that's a good loss we have.
Yeah, I think one question that many customers ask is, how do you start a dealership? And I think myself and Rob, are ready to answer the customers. I mean, if you go into Facebook, in our Facebook page, comment, ask us the questions. We will give you the answers. It's not easy to open a dealership today. Legislation make it very, very difficult to open a dealership today. And it's not just opening a dealership, buy a few cars, put it on a stand and sell it. It's not how it works. So we want to hear from you, the customer. Tell us, ask us questions. You know, funny enough, I've done it many, many years ago. I had a function on a Saturday morning and I invite 50 ladies and not one of them could change a spare wheel. And I promise you, I can guarantee you 29 out of the 50 men can't also do it. I had to help people. So yeah, please comment, ask us the questions. We'll love to answer you on Facebook or Instagram, whatever platform you're on. We're here to help people. There might be youngsters that want to get into the motor industry. They don't know where to start. They comment and ask us the questions.